friends. I have been wanting to make this video for a long time, and I've had a rough week, and something told me today was the day to do it. So I am going to encourage each of you to consider following me in my choice to share 10 truths about myself. We spend so much time trying to get to know each other, often through social media, and maybe not always with very personal connections, whether that be private messaging or face-to-face or phone calls. And unfortunately, I think that we miss out on pieces of each other that are vital to not only our own personal histories, but the way that we connect with one another. I know that in sharing some of these things, I will probably be opening myself up to some degree of ridicule, that some people may try to use some of these things against me. And that's part of being brave enough to be vulnerable. I'm sure I may regret some of my shares later, but I'm going to do it anyway because I think it is important. And if one of the things I share helps one of you to connect with me better, helps you to connect with yourself better, or helps you to be brave enough to share one of your truths, then I'm glad I did it. So I am going to upload this video with the hashtag 10 truths about me. I encourage you guys to follow suit, and if you do, tag me, because I would love to make sure that I'm learning new truths about you. And here we go. Number 1, I am a logophile, which is a lover of words. I have my entire life had a love affair with language and words. I started speaking at a very young age, and I actually keep a Pinterest board where I collect words that I really enjoy, or words that I like learning about, so that I can try to use them in my everyday language. So if you like words, you're also a logophile, and I can encourage you to follow my Pinterest board or make a board of your own, and hey, let's bring unique words and language back. That's part of the fun. Number 2, I am also a selenophile. I know most of you will be shocked to learn that I have a love affair with the moon. Very shocking, with my daughter's name being Luna, which was just kismet, quite ironically enough, as we did not actually pick her name. She came to us as Luna from the start, so that was pretty great. But I have had a love affair with the moon since birth. I can spend hours just relaxing in the gaze of the moon, and of course love almost all of the products, merchandise, etc. with moon and lunar themes, so it's one of my jams. Number 3, I am eidetic. I know some of you know this already, but I do have an eidetic memory. Eidetic memories are thought to be closely tied to synesthesia, in which your brain forms very visceral memories, typically through imagery, but also sometimes through sight and, or through, I should say, through sound or other feelings that are interjected into memories. And those memories are typically very visceral and very encompassing, often from a momentary exposure. So does that mean I remember every single thing? No. Does it mean I can tell my brain, hey, turn on, we're gonna capture this entire moment? No. Oftentimes it is completely uncontrollable and triggered not by a large life-changing thing, but in tiny, minuscule moments. My eyes and my brain will focus on the curve of someone's hand, or the way a scarf is folded around someone's neck, and in that millisecond it will take a picture of every single thing I see around me, everything I feel, single thing I feel within me, everything I hear around me, and that memory is recalled, sometimes at a moment's notice, without any intent to do so, because a similar image or smell or sight or sound feeling will come across, and I can remember that entire moment very viscerally. So that's part of being eidetic. Not always a good thing, because I spend a large portion of my day capturing and processing information that I have to store in my brain, and it's kind of exhausting sometimes. Along with that, I also have hyperthymesia, which means that I have an unusual level of memory, and I store an unusual level of information in my brain. Some people will experience eidetic moments or memories that they store for periods of time and eventually are pushed out unless otherwise triggered. And for whatever reason, my brain just likes to store a lot of crap. Which does mean, however, that I'm really good at trivia games for the most part, because I am a wealth of useless knowledge for the most part. I don't know if that's good or bad, but hey, I'm up for trivia nights. My number 5 truth is I am an endometriosis survivor. About 11% of American women will experience endometriosis in their lifetime, and unfortunately those numbers are growing every single day. Endometriosis is one of the reasons that I have now had a complete hysterectomy and have had 3 abdominal surgeries, have had permanent damage done to my intestines, my abdominal wall, my kidneys, my liver. It's a very real and very painful thing, and I encourage you to take the time to educate yourself about what endometriosis is and what it does, about the toll that it takes on you, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. I encourage other women out there to be brave enough to tell their doctor that something feels wrong. Don't take, oh, it's normal-ish, it'll be okay, some women go through this, as the final answer if you don't feel like this is normal for you. If you don't feel like something's right, talk to your doctor. Keep talking to your doctor. And if that doctor won't listen, go find another doctor, because it took me 4 tries to find the fabulous doctor and specialist who listened to me and ran the tests. And by the time she did, the endometriosis was so aggressive that the damage was permanent. And there was no way to try to correct it or come back from it. And ultimately, it meant I was not going to be able to have my own children because of it. Not just physically, but even in trying to go through the medications to produce and freeze eggs, all of those things were not a possibility for me because of it. It's also important to know if you have endometriosis, because there are a lot of tests out there that link it to an increased risk in several other disorders, including cancer. So take the time to know, take the time to learn and educate yourself, and never ever tell a woman, oh, you're just having a bad period. Oh, it's just a bad period pain, because you know what? It might not be. And it's worth checking out. And don't be afraid to speak up for yourself and say that you think something is wrong. That's a little heavy, right? So to stay in that line, part of the reason that I found out that I had endometriosis, my next truth is I have had 4 miscarriages. I unfortunately have had the experience of having 4 angel babies before we found our beautiful Luna girl, and it was a very difficult struggle for me. If you would like to learn more about my struggle to become a mother, not just at heart, but in totality, I do have a YouTube video about it. I encourage you to take a look at it, and I encourage you to share your stories with me, because I truly believe that motherhood doesn't begin with the birth of your child. Motherhood doesn't even begin with the conception of your child. Motherhood begins the day your heart decides you want to be a mother. And there is a large grieving process that goes along with not being able to fulfill that dream or expectation for yourself, for your loved ones, for your partner. And there's a lot of stigma around that still. And I think that we need to open doors. We need to talk about these things, especially in the climate that we are in now, where women's health and women's health care is being systematically pushed to the bottom of the priority chart, where we are systematically being told that we are not equal, that we are not supposed to complain, we are not supposed to have issues, we are not supposed to want better for ourselves. we need to push back, and we need to hold on to each other. We need to support each other. We need to fight for each other's rights to be able to say, I deserve to be heard. I deserve a chance. And I'm worth investing in. So talk to each other, talk to your doctors, talk to your loved ones, share your story. Don't be silent like I was during the bulk of my process. And if you are experiencing endometriosis, or you are experiencing fertility issues, you are experiencing miscarriages, and you just feel like you need someone to talk to who's not going to judge you, who's not going to say all the things that people say thinking they're going to be helpful and not realize how much it hurts, then you message me and I'll be here. And I'll be your person, and I'll listen, because I've been there. I know what it's like. And I promise you, you can get through this. And you're still a mama. And you're still amazing. So let's lighten it a little bit. Truth number 7, I believe in whole attraction. I can certainly see a person across the room and appreciate that they may be a good-looking individual, but unlike a lot of individuals, I'm not attracted to someone based solely on how they look. So growing up, all of my girlfriends would have crushes on their favorite rock stars or pop stars or movie stars, and they'd be like, who do you have a crush on? And I couldn't answer that, so sometimes I would just randomly pick someone so they would stop thinking I was weird. And that still happens now. For me, I believe in an attraction that is formed once you know not just the physicalities of the person, but more the content of their character, their likes, their dislikes, their humor. I truly believe in the statement, seduce my mind and you can have my body. Touch my soul and I'm yours forever. So I'm totally cool with those individuals who immediately sense and believe in attraction based solely on physicality. I know it exists out there. I just don't work like that. So if you ask me, do I think that person's hot? I might be like, it's a good-looking guy or good-looking gal. But unless I know more about that person, whether that be a famous person or just someone on the street, I probably will not actually have an attraction to them or find them attractive in the way that most of my other friends do, because I just don't function like that. I'm weird, like you all didn't already know that. Truth number 8, I am always uncomfortable in my own skin. I do not like myself physically in pretty much every way. I know some of that stems from some issues in my childhood, which maybe I'll be brave enough to make another video about at another time. But some of it is society, some of it is my own perceptions of things, but I have always seen myself for all of my faults, especially when we are speaking about physicalities. And I'm really uncomfortable, especially in environments where your physicalities are prioritized. And it's really difficult for me. Oftentimes, people, even friends, will make jokes not realizing that sits in my head, and with no intent of ever sharing any negativity or malice. I can remember in high school we used to call ourselves Tundra Women. It's myself and a group of other girls who were taller and broader and not as feminine as everyone else. I've owned the label Amazon for a long time, and in many ways I'm really okay with that. I'm routinely called big or large, even when people are just joking. I'm 5'9", and when I wear heels, I'm 6 feet tall or taller, and I will routinely have people jump back when they see me in heels, jump back when I stand up from a chair because they're used to women being 5'7", 5'6", 5'5", even shorter than that. And so to have somebody be eye level or taller than eye level is really off-putting for a lot of people. And even if they don't mean to show that in their expressions, they often do. Wow, you're really big. You're really large. You're a big girl, huh? And that's not necessarily even meant as a negative thing. It's just their gut reaction. Or you're really big today. And they often say big or large, not tall, not statuesque. I get big, large, broad. I don't get curvy. I don't get pretty. I don't get beautiful. Those are the terms I hear every day. And those are also the terms that I hear every day in negative ways from individuals who would like to use those labels to somehow make me feel less about myself. Good job, because I usually do. And I don't share that a lot. So truth number 9 is that I don't share that a lot because I always feel out of place. I have a group of female friends who fit the social expectation or the social norm of female and feminine, and they're between 5'2" and 5'7", and they're petite and they're beautiful or adorable, and if they have strong opinions, it's called spunk. And I then have a group of friends who are anywhere from 5'7" to 6 foot, and maybe they are taller and lankier, or maybe they are curvier, or more well endowed than myself. And if they have strong opinions, they have sass. And then there's this small group of women in my category who are built like an oak tree and have strong opinions and have a strong voice and aren't afraid to walk into a room with their shoulders back or make eye contact with people. And when we speak, we're yelling. When we speak, we're bitchy. When we speak, we're being too strong or too forceful, more often than not, even if we say the exact same thing in the exact same way as the woman with sass or the woman with spunk, even if we choose to diminish ourselves. I will find a lot of times in conversations I am more readily accepted if I roll my shoulders forward and I tuck my hands onto my lap or put my hand under my chin, tilt my head to the side. If I don't make direct eye contact, if I look away a lot during conversations, people find me more palatable, less intimidating. And it's something that I struggle with all the time. I feel like I'm too big for some people. I'm too loud for some people. I'm too small, maybe, for a handful of people. I don't know. I just kind of always feel out of place. And I kind of always feel like I have that extra hurdle that I have to jump in order to get someone to look beyond X, Y, or Z, to then listen to the words coming out of my mouth, consider the tone of my voice, consider the content of the message, because there's a stigma as soon as I walk in the room or as soon as I open my mouth. So that's really difficult for me, and something that has come to light again this week in my life, and is something I'm constantly struggling with. Like, I just don't have a place. And that's not to say that I don't have wonderful, amazing friends and family who I love dearly, who I cherish with my whole heart and soul, who work really hard to make me feel like I have a place with them and I am loved and accepted, no matter how crazy and off the wall I am. But I want to be honest with people and tell them that I still just feel out of place, and that's not anything that anybody else is intending to do all the time. Sometimes it's just the way my brain has become programmed to process things. And I particularly wanted to share that because I know that a lot of people are struggling with feeling like they don't have a place, or they don't have a purpose, or they just don't have it in them anymore. This past year has been really exhausting for people in so many ways and on so many levels, culturally and religiously and socially, and within organizations, within their own personal relationships. And sometimes we forget that there are human beings on the other end of the keyboard, that there are other people out there like us. And that's what this is about, is sharing so that you know you're not alone. Whether it's something maybe more facile, like I love words, to something really deep, like I'm not comfortable in my own skin. I feel lonely sometimes. I have angel babies. It's important that we share these things, and it's important that we take time to appreciate these things so that we can connect with one another, and so that we can appreciate the light in other people's souls. Because that is my truth number 10. I am a lover of souls. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what race you are. I don't care about your political beliefs. I don't care which geek genre you assign yourself to, or multiple genres. I care about the content of your character. I care about what's in your soul. So if you like Star Trek or Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is, are you a good person? Whether you subscribe to God or Allah or God and Goddess or Buddha or any other menagerie of earth, space, and deity, doesn't matter to me. As long as you have a good heart and you choose to do good things with it. I don't care what political party you align with, or don't, for that matter. I care about your beliefs individually and how you work to foster goodness in the world and to promote equality and acceptance and love. I don't care about your ethnicity. And I sure as hell don't care about the color of your skin, or your hair, or how many piercings you have, or how many tattoos you do or do not have, because those are parts of you, indelible parts of you, some of which you have no ability to change whatsoever, and I would never ask you to, and some of which are simply self-expression and or beautiful pieces of art that help define who you are. I don't care about what those labels are, unless they mean something to you in a positive or negative fashion. I don't need you to be or not to be certain social norms. I just need you to be a good person. And I think it's time that we as a society stopped focusing so much on the labels and the boxes and the shelves, and started asking real questions of each other. Started asking how we can help. Who are you? How am I like you? How can I be connected to you? How do our hearts align? Our beliefs align? Because if we spent more time doing that and less time worrying about what label or box to assign people to, we might find we're a hell of a lot more alike than we give ourselves credit for. We might find that that person that sits on the other side of the aisle from you really is much more alike you and alike your beliefs than you had ever known. And if we don't start honestly talking to each other, this world is going to fall to chaos and darkness. So, be the light. Be the change. Share your truths. Support other people who share theirs, even if your truths don't align. Find the goodness in others. Promote it. Help each other to heal. Help each other to be strong. Help each other to be uniquely themselves, comfortable in their own skin, brave enough to be exactly the brand of weirdo you are. Share. And please, for the love of God, hear. Don't just listen. These are the 10 truths I'm sharing today. I hope they've helped some of you find a way to connect, and I hope that they've given some of you a chance to giggle, a chance to reflect, maybe a chance to think about your own truths. And I look forward to learning 10 truths about each of you. You have my peace, my love, and my heart, always. Thank you for listening.